It is currently 3 days before I go on summer holiday at the time of recording this video, and I wasn't even going to make any more videos because I had an exam that I didn't prepare for. And as such, I had to drop everything in order to get ready for it. It was one of those exams that you are not forced to go to, but whatever. So here I was, sitting, playing Rainbow Six Siege, and looking around on Discord, and then I get sent this fucking thing. I wasn't going to talk about this retard anymore, but I have to. Because, just like him, I am hungry, but not for hot dogs, but for views. That's sarcasm, in case you can't tell. I've recently learned that some people don't know the concept. But basically, the Snorlax cosplayer is back at it again and making videos claiming the usual bullshit. And I can't believe that I'm actually going to say this. Yes, the case is still ongoing, but if you just listen to his side, not the way you'd think. I'm going to respond to this video, but I'm not going to do so in its entirety. I'm only going to take some points from it and respond to them. You can go watch his video if you're insane enough to at least verify that I am not misrepresenting what he said. But first, some context. This oversized Pepsi cosplayer that you're fucking looking at is a DMCA abuser who, in the span of a year or a bit less, tried to DMCA over 40 fucking times videos that criticize him and his shit videos with his shit points. He then tries to expand these things to harassment. He sees himself as a lawyer of sorts, or at least a legal expert, and thus fails to notice how ridiculous he sounds when he says things like, "I'm not fucking kidding," that he could sue women who don't want to go on a date with him. He also considers it doxing for people to simply find out via his YouTube channel, in which his name and backstory was available, his address, which was public on his channel until we pointed it out, and other things such as the fact that he stabbed his dad in the face over slow internet and then tried to say that the dad stabbed himself, but whatever. After a while of him trying to bully YouTubers into silence and getting other people's channels deleted, some of us said enough is enough and decided to start counter-notifying his DMCA attempt, which he decided to use as an excuse to get $1.8 million fucking dollars out of. And that's just from me. If you count all other people he has DMCA'd or tried to DMCA and sue, you reach the ballpark of over 10 million US dollars, and his attempt as well to force us to hand over all our devices for impounding. Such is the vindictive nature of this cunt. Now, you may be wondering, with a track record like this, how the fuck is his lawsuit still in place? And you know what? It wasn't for a while, because the dipshit tried to add YouTube to it and then tried to remove them afterwards, it being the lawsuit. He abused the court and lied to it, which led to the court throwing out the case. But due to a series of events in which I cannot be fucking asked to relate here, just go check out Sid Alpha's channel, link in the description, the case is kind of, and I do mean kind of, back. No, we are not having to defend ourselves, in case you're wondering. It's just him bullying and bickering with the court, making up bullshit. Which, given how shit it is, I am not going to be surprised when he is eventually labeled as a vexatious litigant and for, you know, having massive contempt of court. It's just one of those cases where it's just in limbo, but for all the wrong reasons. Usually you'd think a case is in limbo because there's so much to handle or whatever, but no, in this case, the case is in limbo because Acerthorn cannot stop making up bullshit about the court, such as his assertion that the courts are corrupt because reasons. And if you think I'm misrepresenting his position, no, that is literally his justification. The courts are corrupt because reasons. But I've dawdled around for too long. Let's go look at this fucking video. Let's see what the boy has to say about Sid Alpha handing him a huge W. Tell us, Acerthorn, what is this W? Did you finally get a win, or did you go out to eat at fucking Wendy's and that's why you're in a slightly better mood today?
What's an industry secret in the field you work in? I'm an attorney. The secret is shut the f*** up.
That is something that Sid Alpha should really learn to apply to himself, because in his latest video, he has just handed me one hell of a W.
The guy who has taken down other people's YouTube channels for a screenshot of his face used content that is not his own, and of all fucking things to put as his intro, it's a clip of a YouTube short of Subway Surfers in which text-to-speech says that as an attorney, it is recommended that clients shut the hell up. You'll have noticed that I edited the video around a little bit. That's because his editing is absolutely horrendous and it actually did hurt my ears. But back on point, the advice is that people should shut the fuck up if they're in a legal dispute, and that's kind of ironic coming from the guy who keeps fucking stating that other people are harassing him. Baseless accusation, by the way. And his legal briefs are some of the longest, and I do mean longest fucking things I think I've ever read, in which he, guess what, does not shut the fuck up. Leading to hilarious things such as him trying to copyright shapes such as squares and circles, and videos in which he simply accuses the judge of being corrupt and the entire court of being corrupt. But hey, what do I know about shutting the fuck up? He spends the next 90 seconds wasting everybody's time, so I'm going to skip ahead, and hopefully for once in his life he's going to get to the point, and maybe we can find out what this W is. Is it a win, or is it 2 large 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda from Wendy's? Let's see. Oh, by the way, he says that we just hate his guts and that we've been reposting his content, which, despite the fact that there are people who certainly did that, then that's not what we're doing at all. We're responding to his videos and saying that, no, your opinions on video game X are not good because X, Y, and Z, and he thinks that that's just people hating his guts. Why am I bothering? Let's just go.
My haters tend to jump on literally any opportunity they can to sit through my filings and just snicker out their butts. Pick apart every word, talk about how I'm just a big piece of shit.
Yes, Acerthorn, we pick through your filings because that's what you're supposed to do in a fucking legal dispute. How dare we, the people being sued for millions, read through what we're being sued over? How fucking dare we? I find it very ironic that he says that we jump on any opportunity that we can to pick apart everything that he says and to just call him a piece of shit, when this guy has sent emails like this begging us to make a video on him. Last year, when the court called him out on his bullshit and dropped the case, Acerthorn sent out this email to a bunch of us being the people, and Ghosts, because yes, he's suing Ghosts, that he's suing, begging us to laugh at his delusional ass. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but someone who is quote-unquote suffering from harassment would probably not ask the supposed alleged harassers to supposedly allegedly harass him. And speaking of harassment, did you know that in this definition of harassment he includes us reacting to his fucking filings? You see, Acerthorn likes to put up a lot of nonsense, a lot of hateful, degenerate nonsense in his lawsuits, such as demanding that we hand over all of our devices, or get people like Alpha to force strangers on the internet to never talk about Acerthorn again, or to prevent us from using the internet, or that we be charged with doxing for pointing out that his public information is public, and he was the one who made it public in the first place. He thinks that we are the doxers for pointing out the fact that this guy threatened to dox a fucking owner of a fucking forum for wrestling, but we're the hateful ones for daring to simply react publicly to the things he tries to sue us over. Here is Acerthorn, the guy who does not learn. He says that the key is to shut the fuck up, but he has a video that's 17 minutes and 55 cunt-suck fucking seconds in which he lies through his teeth and doesn't shut the fuck up. Now, the video isn't actually that long, but that's only because Acerthorn pauses to gag every 10 seconds, something which I have edited out for you. I know, I'm merciful. This is the brain rot of DMCA abusers. They will false DMCA you, try to sue you for everything that you have and will own and might own and probably will never own, and then bitch and moan and choke on Twinkies in that fucking order when you dare to show the public what it is that he's actually doing.
And, like, for example, it doesn't even have to be a major court filing. I could literally just be updating the court on the defendant's name and address so that they can serve him with process, and then people will be all like, oh my god, he's doxing the defendant. No, I'm just providing the name and address so that he can be served with process.
Just like you provided your own name and address in your own YouTube videos and public court filings, Acer Thorn, eh? In case you don't know, that's what started this whole thing. How dare we be shocked that you are going out of your way to track down people to sue them for things they don't have, including children, which you paid people $100 to dox in a now deleted video of yours. It's all fine according to him, but not when we do the very same thing from information that he made public, such as the fact he offered legal advice for $50 on guru.com, something which was linked to his YouTube channel and a YouTube video. Hypocrisy isn't a value you can put on a dollar bill, nor is it a condiment you can put over fucking fast food, so I doubt he is aware of the concept.
Gah. I mean, you're the ones who keep putting it on fucking YouTube.
Oh shit, okay, character off, alright? Character off, alright? I hadn't seen the whole video, I had just skipped around a little bit, he started this whole thing calling us harassers and doxers because we managed to obtain information that he himself had made public and linked to his YouTube channel, and now he's complaining that we put things on YouTube oh my god. He really doesn't know the concept of irony, does he?
They just show it and laugh. And yet, they don't seem to be doing that with this second amended complaint.
Because most of us have moved on and most of us have not made a video about you in over a year, other than maybe 1 or 2 live streams laughing about stupid things you said, such as suing women. Because believe it or not, we do not only give a fuck about you. And in fact, most of us have been begging you since before these legal proceedings started to just fuck off and leave us alone.
It's almost, and now that I finally found this one, it's their silence almost as if they know that I've got them this time.
Do not declare victory until you've planted the flag over the enemy base. Do not declare victory if the enemy doesn't even care that you're trying to fight them. His motion is multiple months old, and honestly, nobody gives a fuck anymore, Acer Thorn. You keep fighting with the courts and the judges and YouTube and all that. So the reason people aren't reacting to it is simply because nobody has to. In fact, it was only today that I found out that he had another complaint.
So anyway, Sid Alpha's latest smear video.
I am trying my best to correct his shitty audio mixing, but I can't. I am not kidding when I say that his voice is 30% and the music is 70%. I don't know why he does this. I really don't. It just makes his videos worse to watch. And if anything, it just makes his videos worse to defend on a copyright basis because you're listening to the music way more than you are listening to his voice.
He has recently posted a video smearing some guy named Reforge Gaming. Now, here's the thing. When I first heard the first few minutes of that video, I thought my eyes widened, my jaw hit the floor, as he said that Reforge was a reaction channel that didn't even follow fair use himself. Is he going where I think he's going with this? Oh, hell yes, he was.
I have to say, I'm curious. I am very curious. Acer Thorn, where are you going with this? Because, Reforge is a reaction channel, and, videos like this are not reactions, they're responses. So, let's see. What's going on here? What is Acer Thorn's point? Let's see. Let's find out. Is he got 2 large number 7s in a soda? Let's see. What's Acer Thorn's argument? Let's find out. Let's all pay very close attention. Yes, that's cue for you to stop listening to music and, focus on what he's about to say. Yeah, that's the fucking cue, alright? Pay attention.
11 minutes 27 seconds through 17 minutes 47 seconds. Now, I'm not gonna play it here. You know, don't want to create a market substitute or anything.
You see why nobody can take this fucker seriously? Even at a point where he supposedly has something, he thinks that including other people's content is creating a market substitute, even though he did use that in the intro to his video, and now he wants people to do bitch work and watch Sid Alpha's video instead of just hearing him rationalize and make the point. So I decided to go watch the video, came back, and he has absolutely no point here. You see, what Sid Alpha says is that there are 4 factors to fair use, and that Reforge Gaming was using the excuse of it being behind a paywall, which supposedly justifies the DMCA abuse that Reforge tried to do, which is kind of ironic because that's the same thing Acerthorn tried to do, but alas. Sid Alpha then spends the rest of the 5 minutes or so explaining what the factors to fair use are. Those are being transformative, what percentage was taken, how much portion did you use, the effect on the potential market, that being are you creating a replacement for the original, and the nature of the copyrighted work. I'm not sure how this is anything substantial to Acerthorn. I mean, our videos all pass the 4 factors of fair use. I specifically make it a point to include Acerthorn's channel and original videos in the descriptions of my videos. If I've forgotten that in any case, please do remind me. None of our videos that I know of have counted as market replacements, and the nature of our works is for criticism. He then goes on for nearly half a fucking minute saying that this is what he's been saying for years, which no it isn't, it's what we've been saying, because you, Acerthorn, have tried to use your paywall to sue people. In fact, this is another way that this expanded, this whole lawsuit thing expanded, because you put your accidental live stream, which you cannot copyright, behind a paywall, and you've even taken down other people's videos for including your logo, which was not copyrighted, and your face over videos which didn't even show any footage from you. And you may be wondering, well, why don't I show him gloating? And that's because, well, I don't want to create a market replacement, as he fucking put it. And that's a lie, I just don't want you to suffer the same way I did. Because despite being in the process of quitting smoking, upon hearing this roughly 30-second clip of him gloating, I had to stand up and smoke 2 cigarettes in a row. If you think my sacrifice was worth it, press the like button below. And now that you've done that, let's continue.
And for those of you who don't follow my court proceedings, I have a publicly available video on my channel, How Not to Do Fair Use.
It's a video in which he contradicts himself in reference to his court proceedings and all of that, and in which he lies and lies and lies, and it was the worst 2 hours of my life, second only to me being born. Not everything he says in that video is false, it's absolutely not. But it is not worth your watch. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description so you can check it out yourself, but I wouldn't recommend it. By the way, I'm going to have to skip the next minute and 15 seconds of the video due to him gagging constantly, trying to say the phrase, "simply disagreeing is not enough to be transformative."
Everything that Sid Alpha just said in his latest video about Reforge is exactly what I've been saying for years.
Just to reiterate, no it isn't. This is the W, by the way, in case you haven't figured out that Acerthorn thinks Sid Alpha handed him. The reason he didn't play Sid Alpha's clip in his video is not because he is afraid of copyright or anything like that. Because, and I do legitimately believe this, despite him being unbelievably stupid, he is not stupid enough to put the clip which would actually disprove everything that he has said. The 5-minute clip he is referring to from Sid Alpha is Sid Alpha in order explaining the 4 factors of fair use, and then saying that Reforge, just because he reacted to 100% of the video but put it behind a paywall, doesn't mean he is protected by copyright. Not only is this whole paywall copyright thing something that Acerthorn has done, and it's part of the reason why half of the people who are involved in all of this are involved in this in the first place, but he also tries to assert and tries to get you to presume that we, that being the haters, are using 100% of his clips to make our videos. Look, Acerthorn, if somebody uses 100% of your fucking video and doesn't add anything to it, then by all fucking means, get them taken off. But the problem is that that's not what people are doing. They're doing things like me, which is cutting up the video and responding to select things, or using the entirety of the video, but using it to such an extent where it is outright unrecognizable from the original. Acerthorn tried to get Kretosis and Crew's Stag series taken down, down because they took his original video on Fallout New Vegas, for example, and turned it into a 9-hour stream in which they picked apart absolutely everything, which made it very, very transformative, added criticism, there was commentary relating to things other than the video in there, and it was so different from the original that to say that that wasn't enough would be ridiculous. But he is trying to get you to presume that a lot of us are simply reusing his videos, which is not. And this is one of the ways he lies to people and has lied to people in the past, and is often one of the ways he justifies taking you down, like he did to Sid Alpha. Sid Alpha, who did his research independently and who did not approach Acer Thorn for his side of the story because all of that was public on the court proceedings, which is what he did to Sid Alpha, more rather, tried to do. He distorts the situation to such an extent where he creates an entirely different reality. And that's in effect what this video is. And that's what it has been up to this point, at least. Let's be honest here, a lot of the people are not going to put the pieces together, and a lot of the people are not going to know about everything. And that, dear friends, is what he's banking on, because if he played that clip within the video, and if he gave the appropriate context, you would know that he is guilty of the exact things he accuses other people of doing, which they didn't.
Now, Sid Alpha and I do disagree on a few things. For starters, I insist that opinions cause the second factor to weigh against fair use. He disagrees.
He rightfully disagrees, because opinion does not weigh against any of the factors of fair use. If my opinion on your video is that it's shit, it does not suddenly make it less fair use than it otherwise would be if I said that it was good.
I would also add that commercialization, i.e. putting ads on your videos, accepting super thanks and super chats and stuff, that weighs against the first factor of fair use, and so when you consider the bare minimum transformation that simply agreeing or disagreeing with the opinions amounts to, the overall first factor of fair use probably would weigh against fair use.
In case you didn't understand that babbling, I'm gonna translate it for you. He says that in case you are monetizing your video, which includes somebody else's content such as a response, imagine if this video was monetized. According to him, that weighs against the first factor of fair use, and I'd like to know how. If the video is transformative, if the video has changed substantially, then what the fuck is the difference if it is monetized or not? According to his logic, if he monetizes this video, then he is violating the copyright of wherever this fucking Subway Surfer clip in the intro came from, or at least that in and of itself is weighing against it because he monetized it. You see how stupid this is?
By admitting that at least one, a lot more than just one, at least one of his co-defendants have, that a lot of his co-defendants actually, have very weak cases for fair use. He is signing himself up to be jointly liable.
Yeah, good argument, except that's not what the lawsuit is about. Even if it was, all the videos which are in question are perfectly fair use, which you can check for yourself if you'd like to watch them all. Start with mine. He tried to take down my Acer Thorn grind set videos, and click the like button on them, but what the lawsuit is actually about is us using his copyrighted work, such as his accidental livestream, which is not actually copyrighted and cannot be protected by copyright. And a lot of the things that he has in there are complaints over us using his logo while responding to one of our videos, like having his logo on screen at some points, which is also not subject to copyright because you cannot copyright shapes. Sid Alpha has actually admitted that one of the videos, the one by Artemis Wolf, you know, the dog fucker, is actually not protected by fair use. But other instances are, such as all of my videos, Sid Alpha's and Kretos's, which is why, if you actually go read what's in there, Acer Thorn usually complains about harassing and doxing and not fair use. He does complain about it for a little bit, but he fails to substantiate that with anything other than, it's my logo. I don't know how he thinks that this is a W, because it really isn't. Because if you're actually reading the damn things, we're the ones complaining about Acer Thorn ignoring fair use, and he's the one saying it's okay because malicious hands and harassing and doxing, which is not what anybody has done. Well, I say anybody, there's probably one or two, but that's besides the point. He's referring to Sid Alpha, me, Kretos, Echo Wilder, that sort of thing, and none of us have ever supported such a thing. And all of our videos are fair use, so there you go.
It is one singular, collaborative effort to ruin me. one group, one collective goal. They are all working together.
Get ready to lose some pounds. Get ready to get shot and thrown in a ditch. Get ready to get dipped in acid baths. But first, you're gonna get raped.
Defamation. It's not one single effort to fucking ruin you, Acerthorn. It's one single effort because you are taking advantage of the court and the fact that you are on benefits and can do this basically, not literally, but basically for free, while not one of us has the needed amount individually to come up with a lawyer. And thus, Sid Alpha, being the most known out of all of us and the one with the biggest audience, raised some money in order to defend all of us, because you, who never shuts the fuck up about harassment, tries to bait us into responding and into making videos. You lie about us and you have taken down other people's channels over bullshit. Out of the 40 or 50 plus, something like that, DMCA takedowns that Acerthorn has filed, I can count on my hand, on my mutilated hand, if it was mutilated, the amount of DMCA takedowns that were actually justified. The number, by the way, is 4. One from Artemis, which did not fit the factors of fair use, that was the original one, which Acerthorn said he wouldn't take down if Artemis privated it, and he did it anyway. So that was a lie. And 3 re-uploads of your videos, which, you know, fair enough. The other videos you have taken down have been perfectly reasonable, transformative critiques of your videos, in which, with the exception of the stag live streams, none of them used 100% of your video, or videos, and some included 0 of your content other than a screenshot of your face, or a screenshot of a giveaway in which you rigged. You tried to take other people's videos down because they criticize you. You tried to take down Sid Alpha's video before even fucking seeing it by using your audience, your botted audience, by the way, to flood it with reports. If all of the DMCAs that this fucker tried to send me had gone through, this channel would have been deleted. And now, thanks to him, my information, now a little bit out of date, but my information is now public thanks to this asshole, who is now trying to convince you that I and other people are just harassers and doxers just because we dare to criticize him and use publicly available information that he himself linked to his YouTube channel to criticize him. And his response, malicious as it is him trying to sue us for money that none of us have, and to defame us by saying that we're just smearing him.
But he's also handed me another huge W. See, in addition to suing him in that reopened case, I'm also suing him for slander.
You better hope to Lord Jesus Christ in heaven himself that Sid Alpha runs out of money before he can countersue you. You, Acerthorn, are the most slanderous motherfucker on the planet. Not literally, of course. I can't say that because there might always be somebody else. But you, since the very beginning, have been caught lying over and over and over again and are doing that in this very same video. Good luck trying to sue Sid Alpha for slander when everything he says about you has been court documents you wrote. You, who calls people like me, Kretosis, and others harassers and doxers, actually have the balls, the fucking balls, to say that anyone here opposing you is fucking slanderous. That takes courage, but let's see, how does Acerthorn justify the slander lawsuit against Sid Alpha? What is the W?
No, instead, he believes that I have to consider his version of fair use. That's not the law, but he says that's the law. He thinks that's the law. And in making that, and it's saying that I broke the law because of that, he was slandering me.
He does not understand what slander is, does he? For starters, no. Sid Alpha explicitly rejected the idea that he had to consider your version of fair use, and there is no Sid Alpha's version of fair use. There never was. This is an invention by Acerthorn. But when Sid Alpha says that you broke the law, he is not lying. Because there is evidence of you saying that you are going to DMCA videos, such as mine, because you considered it harassment and thus used the copyright takedown to take it down. That is abuse of the system. It is also abuse of the system and a crime to break the law, you know, to lie to the judge and say that things which are not copyrighted are. You broke the law by abusing the court system in order to silence online criticism. And you cannot then turn around and say that it's slander to say that you did, even if you lie about the basis for the accusation. All of your documents are on court record, Acerthorn, and the judge can go back and see what it is that you versus Sid Alpha have been saying.
So here's the thing. About a half a dozen, at least a half a dozen that I can think of off the top of my head, other videos that I struck followed basically the same format of reaction videos, of low-effort reaction videos that he criticizes Reforge for using.
Notice how he says half a dozen. He says half a dozen when I have counted at least 40 DMCA takedowns. Even if we presume, right? Even if we presume that these half a dozen are the same as Reforge, then what the fuck are the others, Acerthorn?
Yeah, that's basically the format for at least a half a dozen videos that I had taken down. Now that's part of the reopen case. If they didn't file a counter notification, I wasn't going to sue him for it.
Acerthorn, you are suing people who didn't even counter-notify you. And we counter-notified because we believed your takedowns to be bullshit. And because it would lead to our channels being taken down over your fucked understanding of what fair use is. And of course, your excuses to take other people's videos down, such as me making fun of you equals doxing somehow. The people who did not fight back had their videos and channels taken down. And it was only YouTube stepping in and stopping most of your DMCA takedowns that stopped more people being involved. So it was either lose our YouTube channels and get abused for, you know, just criticizing a guy and then have him cry about it, or be sued. And honestly, I think the sued part was the good choice, because my channel is still here, and you are on the verge of being labeled in contempt of court, a vexatious litigant, and a fucking criminal for abusing the system. Acerthorn failed to take down Kretosis' stag videos, for example, and he's suing Kretosis anyway. So not only is he lying here, he's also being a fucking bully. And this is what happens when you stand up to bullies, ladies and gentlemen. They cope and seethe and mold.
But there's at least a half a dozen other cases that I had taken down, and that Sid Alpha outright says were fraudulent of me to have them taken down.
There's more to this video, but I'm not going to bother. Honestly, I think you've got the point of what this video is, and you've gotten a reminder of how much of a piece of shit this guy is. He is a slanderous, legally illiterate, DMCA-abusing fat fuck, who hates being harassed but begs for people to react to the things he says because at the end of the day, all he cares about is money. He will lie to you to your face if only to make him look good for a few moments. He will abuse the courts and DMCA systems if it means that he can silence you, all while playing the victim, making up nonsense about other people, and the second those people turn their backs on them and stop giving a shit, he cries, because his failed channel is no longer in the spotlight. And I know that while I did bring it back into the spotlight ever so slightly just to react to this, I feel like people need a reminder of how much of a piece of shit this guy is and how bad DMCA abuse is. He says he wouldn't have sued people for it when he did. He says he wouldn't take videos down, then he does. The guy who sued the state of Texas for the GDP of Japan, 5 trillion by the way, and who was trying to get millions out of individual YouTubers making videos for fun, under the excuse that he just wants harassment to stop, not only invites reactions to him and invites harassment, which people haven't fallen for, but cries wolf the second you dare to speak back to him and say that he's being unreasonable. I'm going to ask that if you go and check his own video just to verify that I did not misrepresent him, do not press the like or dislike button nor leave a comment because that would help him in the algorithm. Do not trust this guy, but most importantly, do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. These people reveal to themselves to be the most pathetic people on the planet the second you dare call them out on their bullshit. Thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for rating, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.